So we're just going to go around in the order in which people showed up. I added that in the chat. I will, after Bryce, would go Robert. And we'll do 3 minutes. Rochelle, you want to tell us what's up? If you did anything interesting over the new year, let us know. Or if you've got new plans or resolutions, you're up.
Been a quiet season for, well, I purposely made sure it was quiet. I just think I'm a tad, I think I'm a little hysterical with this COVID. You know, I'm afraid to even pick up the phone because each time I pick up the phone, somebody else is like, you know, has been down for the count. So I'm kind of staying very isolated and on my own in that regard. So in terms of holiday, I mean, it couldn't have been more boring if I tried. So anyway, so this wasn't the greatest of seasons. However, I'm totally ready for a new, you know, a nice, I like the beginning of the year because it's a clean slate, new energy. Let's just kind of go forward with, you know, let's make it happen. So one of the things that some people don't know me here, my name's Rochelle. My company is Dynamic Business Growth. And I always say it's dynamic business growth and not schlep along business growth. So what does it take to really move a business forward? So I work with, you know, smaller companies to kind of make it happen for the new year. I am going to you know, there's a program that I've wanted to bring to fruition for quite a while. And each time I've given it a shot, something, I've had a boulder that stood in the way. So I do have a program called Ultimate Power Pitch. I will love to send it would be a group program, ideally in the beginning of February, end of January. I'm looking for 8 people. It will be a, you know, startup program. It'll be 6 weeks. And it's going to be about, you know, a lot of companies have a very hard time discussing what they do in some sort of a compelling way. You know, they give us a, you know, size 10 foot worth of information in a size 6 shoe. And I always say that when you talk about your business, are you storytelling or boring telling? Did you give me an example of how did you pull a rabbit out of a hat? That just based on that, I get to see your expertise and the level of clients that you work with and your level of sophistication and know-how. So this program will address that. You'll walk away with a dynamic pitch. So I'm looking for, you know, solo practitioners, smaller practitioners or entrepreneurs that are willing to like get the, you know, start the year off, understand what are their great stories that based on that, it's going to bring in a heck of a lot more business. So that's what my ask is for today.
That's great. Have you considered doing, I think you did one for, you know, for the Trusted Referral Network, you did sort of a sample. I don't know if that generated any specific interest, but that might be a good way, you know, to provide a sample to people, do a webinar, and then, you know, of what you can do for them, and then you'll get people who say, oh, I really need this, I should sign up for the full blown.
I could think of sending something out for a webinar. That great suggestion. Thank you.
Yeah, I find that, you know, it's hard to really get your head around it without sort of seeing a taste of what you do. Cool. Thank you. Okay, Jason, you are up. And I didn't mute everybody because I'm in the so you have to unmute yourself. Whoops, I just muted you again, Jason. Sorry, I meant to mute somebody else.
It's okay.
You're up.
So Jason Cement, I have sort of 2 identities, as you would expect from my Batman puzzle behind me. So part 1 is my agency called Get Visible. We basically build websites and promote them with search engine rankings, social media stuff, advertising, it's the full digital media spectrum, and focus a lot on service providers, manufacturers, distributors on one side, and then totally e-commerce, which leads to my second identity, which is a platform called Adricom, which I didn't come up with the name, it's terrible, but it does stand for the American Dream Company, because the founder is a Russian guy who always wanted to move to America, and he achieved it and lives in glorious North Carolina. So I'm not sure if that's a victory for him, but that's where he is. And that is a platform, it's been around for 18 years. And what distinguishes it from Shopify and Magento on one side is everything is built in. So there's no conflict for plugins because all the features and functionality are built in. And 2 years ago, we built something called the Foundry, which is an API library functionality, which now enables the system to very quickly be integrated to external platforms and like lightning fast. So if you have a need for like a custom programmed site beyond e-commerce, but there's some form of web transactionality, it's worth talking to us because we're building crazy deployments at a fraction of the cost and time. So that's it.
And did you connected with what's his name?
Yeah, your guy, I spoke to him. I mean, he's very rich investment for someone who's looking to expand, but definitely knows his stuff.
Rick.
Yeah, Rick, it was good.
Yeah, he's good. So so yeah, the Agricom platform is really good for people who have a sophisticated e-commerce need, but don't want to spend the kind of money that's required with a Magento implementation, and also want it to be done for them. So it's a platform and a team.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, not even e-commerce. If you go, there's a Russian website from Stalin, based on what happened in Stalin's days, where they kidnapped and killed millions of people. They built a map of the world. You can type in like a family name and you can find plaques all over Asia and Russia of where people were taken. And that's running, it's much more sophisticated than what I'm describing, but that's running on the same platform. So it's not just e-commerce, it's any type of transactionality information too. So that's all.
Right. Hey, Mark, thanks for joining. You'll go after Robert Weiss, but next up is Matthew Silverman. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Hello, good morning. So yeah, Matthew Silverman. I've got my own little digital marketing agency focusing on high-level strategy, paid ads, SEO, growth marketing, stuff like that. I work for a number of big agencies in Atlanta and also serviced a number of the largest companies in America, including Apple and IHG, 360i, stuff like that. So 2020 is exciting. I've got a lot of prospects in the pipelines working on trying to help people get in front of the right clients and just get the right leads and sales going in the door. So kind of like the agency type of model.
Do you any particular industries that you focus on?
Yes and no. I mean, I've done pretty much everything except for, let's say, education and government and politics. But a lot of the industries, you can use what you learn in one and translate it to another. So I don't really focus on a particular industry. It's more of get deep into the tactics and deploy the tactics successfully across different industries.
And any particular example you're working on or client you're working with today that's a good example of what you do?
So today, right now, I'm working with a financial services firm in Atlanta, and they're trying to get in front of divorced women with a seminar that they have to help women on the financial side so they can succeed in divorce and not feel drowning with financial part of it. So I'm helping with Google ads and Facebook ads and just helping get in front of the right type of clientele.
Cool. And any particular ask?
Any ask? I'd say if you know anybody who's looking for a consultant or a small little animal agency, I'd love to have the referral. And if I do have any development or any other things, I definitely would like to share the wealth with the network.
Very good. And based in Atlanta, outside of Atlanta, correct?
Yeah. And sorry, I forgot her name. Was it Rochelle? Was it?
Rochelle.
Yeah, it was Rochelle. Sorry, the screen changed. Yeah, what you're saying about branding is huge. I mean, I've got a client right now. Unfortunately, I don't have enough in to introduce you, but that's the exact same problem they're having right now. It's a different client where their branding is so generic. They don't tell the why story of what's going on and why click. Yep. So good stuff. Yeah,
All
share
right,
it on
maybe when you,
LinkedIn, and I'll definitely share your webinar whenever you get it running.
yeah. And by the way, everybody, particularly those people who are new, add your LinkedIn to the chat, and so everybody can save it at the end or maybe before the end. Thank you, Matthew. So David Libby, you're up. You'll have to unmute yourself.
All right, thanks, Michael. These head hosts make me look like the male Princess Leia, but at least I didn't wear a white t-shirt today, so, not too obvious. Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, is it? Almost. I'm David Libby, and what we do at 2pins, it's the number 2, PINZ.com. We accelerate startups to their exits. And how do we do that? We use marketing, PR, social, and content to help startups get closer to the exit they want, whether it's an acquisition, IPO, any other exit strategy they may have in mind. We've been doing this for most recently for artificial intelligence startups, cloud, big data, and currently we're doing a ton of writing for clients. You can imagine they're not going to in-person events. They thought they were, but they haven't been. And so they've been asking us to write content for their websites and emails and blog posts and articles to generate interest and not so much just evergreen content that they put on their website, but strategic, thoughtful, differentiating content so they can break out in their category and help get closer to their end goal. Thank you.
Very cool. Yeah. So David's got a really unique position working with startups, getting them to either fundraising or exit, right? That's your focus.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's the focus.
And do you do, is your writing, does it tend to be SEO focused or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. We do work with SEO agencies. And so we don't claim to be SEO experts because it's actually, from what I know personally, it's quite complicated, right? And so
yeah, I mean, there's a lot more to it than just the content. But also, if you know of SEO agencies that you would recommend or anybody else that you think would benefit from being part of this community, definitely introduce them, send them my way. As you know, there's a free trial, and the more people we can get engaged, the better for everybody.
I'll do that. Thank you.
Wonderful. So if anybody knows of any startups who are trying to, get to unicorn stage or at least raise their next $10 million, David is the man.
And I'd say the only ask I have is if I'll drop my LinkedIn into the chat as well. It just really helps me to connect on LinkedIn, connect on any way we can to stay engaged more often than just once a week. It's my goal in 2022 to really get to know people a little bit better and quickly remember who you are. So thanks for that.
Yeah. Actually, you know what I should probably ask people to do is not just their LinkedIn, but their TrustRef page. That should have all of the other stuff, the LinkedIn, the email, and all that other good stuff.
Yep.
So it's 2 and the number 2 PINZ is a way to look up David on trustref.net.
Thank you, Michael.
Absolutely. Okay. Next, Bryce, then Robert, then Mark. Bryce,
Morning,
you're up.
everybody. Good to see everybody again. Hope everybody had a good New Year's with friends and family. I'm over in Vancouver, and we actually got a white Christmas. We had 6 inches of snow, so Vancouver's basically shut down. So my name is Bryce Wade. We are a SEO focused agency. We do some other stuff as well. We started doing consulting. We have this process called BEO, Business Engine Optimization, that helps businesses be more profitable with their internal systems and getting things more organized within the business, which has been working really well for us. We're consulting for some fairly big companies in the $10 to $50 million range, and it's been going really well. We started doing a weekly event, kind of similar to this. Usually runs on Tuesdays, so if anybody would like to join, yeah, happy to invite anybody. And yeah, don't have too much to talk about today. First day back, but yeah.
Do you want to share that a link or something to that event? What time is it on Tuesdays?
It'd be at this time on Tuesdays.
This time on Tuesday, so it's Tuesday mornings at 11.
Yeah, sorry,
11:30
11:30 Eastern.
11:30 ET, and it's every Tuesday or alternating or just occasional or?
So we actually got back into an office recently, so it's alternating between in person and online.
Oh, neat.
And I'll find a quick link here and post an example here. So if anybody's interested, just yeah, reach out and I'll send you an invite.
And Bryce also, his company, Mind of a Marketer. So if you look up Mind, M-I-N-D, you'll find it on trustref.net. And also has some very interesting SEO and SEM technologies that they are white labeling. So, you know, those technologies tend to be ideal for larger campaigns, for SEM in particular. But they've done some pretty cool stuff. His partner is a tech guru, marketing tech guru, and has done some really cool stuff.
Yeah. Thanks, Michael.
Absolutely. All right. Let's see. That was Bryce, then Robert, then Mark. Robert, you're up.
All right, cool. Well, I first want to say hello to Michael. It's been a while. And hello, Jason. Hello, Rochelle again. And nice to meet you, Matthew, David, Bryce, and Mark. I think Mark, we've met on one of these at some point before. So for the holidays, it was pretty much kind of what Rochelle said, kind of laying low, didn't do too much, did a little hiking, played a little hockey, and just chilled out with the family. That's about it. That's all we did here. In terms of business, what I do for a living is one word: video. Video, 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 video. That's what I do. We celebrated our 10th year last year. We've done 1,000 videos over that time. And we do projects like for content marketing, for SEO, or that might output not just one video, but a multitude of videos. We're doing recruiting videos. We do software animation videos, top of the funnel advertising videos, case study videos. So whatever the right piece of content is for the right business objective, that's where we come in from a strategic standpoint and really work with our clients to create the right content for the right place at the right time. Over the last year, we've been doing a lot of remote shoots for obvious reasons. And we have a technology that we call remote video capture, which is an app that you download on smartphones. And we coach people to set up their framing and do everything like that. But the software allows us to record up to 4K content on this phone. And then when it's stored locally, because it's recorded natively to the device, we upload it to the cloud and we download it. And we're just doing some really, really amazing stuff with that for firms like law firms and nonprofits and accounting firms and the like. And we're even getting into 2 and 3 camera shoots right now with the technology. And one of the things that one of our things that our clients did with the footage that we created for them was take some of those videos, a series of 3 videos around cybersecurity, and they advertised them on LinkedIn. And over a 10-day period, they got a grand total of 2,530 hours watched of those videos. 2,530, right? So astronomical.
2,530 hours.
Yes. Did I say 20? Yeah.
I don't know.
2,530. That's it. I was going to say over 2,500, but then it was like, I have it there in calculations. I was specific. So 2,530 hours of these 2 partners being in front of people, from a law firm. I mean, like astronomical ROI there. So those are some of the things that we do in terms of an ask, reconnect with people, get to know people, build a relationship. That's about it. So.
And Multivision Digital is how you would find Robert on TrustRef. So if you want to, I think you already put your LinkedIn right in the. Okay. Great. And Robert, I could see you're not in Manhattan right now, right?
I'm not. Yeah, I moved to Rye, New York, a year ago. I moved out.
Right near Rye Playland.
Yep, right down the street. Can walk there. So
Very cool.
yeah.
I have a story for you. My girlfriend, my prior administration, as my current girlfriend likes to refer to her as, lived in Mamaroneck, and she had kids, and she forced me to go to Rye Playland and go on some of the rides. I still have some of the bruises on my knees from trying to hold on.
Yes. For those of you that don't know, Rye Playland is it's like a small Six Flags amusement park right down the street here. It's been
from like the 30s or 20s. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an old.
They still have some rides from like 1917.
Oh my God. Wow.
Anyway, hello.
Mark, T-Ball, you are up.
Hello, how are you? So anyway, so what I do is I work mainly with private equity groups and personal clients, mostly mid-size, probably 10 million and up. And what I do is pre-branding. So, I work before the branders. I build go-to-market strategies. I also do customer journey, which is actually very interesting. So that's what I do in a nutshell. And, what I did for Christmas, we had people here. So the place was sort of nuts for us, but we had a lot of fun.
And Mark's based in Southern California, Southern Florida.
That's true.
And so another warm part of the country. And you said you do a lot of work for PE companies. Within that, what types of industries have you?
Well, mainly, believe it or not, mainly it's tech companies. A lot of times what they do is they have a tech company and they want to find out who might be a good match and, who might not be a good match. Of course, they often go into it with predetermined ideas.
When you say match, you're talking about customers?
Yeah. So in other words, they're looking often to fill in the holes, or, expand. But again, with the private equity groups, more so than the private clients, they've a lot of times made up their minds already whether or not they're going to buy it. Because a lot of times they're under a 30-day due diligence, and they need to know within 30 days whether they can buy it or not.
Yeah, limited. So you're on a very short time frame.
Chinese fire drill.
Little fire drills. Wonderful. Yeah. Cool. Anybody? Any particular asks?
No, not other than not other than if you see a business that has a challenge or difficulty or is struggling or can't make it, I might be a suitable call. The other thing I do is I mentor a lot of startups. So, I'm on 4 different startup boards, that I work with. So.
Yeah, and Mark was gracious enough to introduce me to one of his mentees who needed some software. It turned out not to. He decided not to pursue it, but always appreciate that type of intro.
Interestingly enough, he's in Germany right now.
Okay, well, he's from Germany, right?
He was from Germany, and he's going to come back, but apparently he had to remove himself somewhat.
All right. I didn't miss anybody, right? Before I move on to myself. All right, good. So I will give myself 3 minutes as well. Michael Bendit is my name. In addition to building out this network, the Trusted Referral Network, which, as you know, is a network of independent marketing, sales, and advertising professionals, service providers. My core business is Software Development Resources, which is a company that represents software development teams. I don't do any programming. I haven't done it since, I don't know, 1983 or 4 when I did an internship at IBM. But I've always been, since for my entire career, on the business side of technology, and much of that has been software. So I now represent about 10 different boutique software development teams. I sell on their behalf. People come to me when they're not really sure what they need in terms of technology, the type of team, type of skill set, or in certain cases, they do know what they need, but they're not sure where to find it. So, sometimes it's people saying, Michael, I need, a team that does Expression Engine, which is a content management system that's no longer popular, but somebody could be stuck with it. Or, Adobe Experience Manager, which is more of an enterprise system. And so I have teams that specialize in these different platforms, different technologies. For the most part, I work with dual shore teams, or most of my work is with my dual shore teams. And those are teams that have a few people here in the US, but most of their folks, most of their developers are offshore. So whereas a domestic rate, hourly rate for a team is typically $150 an hour. And if it's completely offshore, depending on where it is, it could go as low as, $20 an hour. These dual shore teams tend to be more in the $40 to $60 or $70 range. So it's not as cheap as purely offshore, but you get, you don't have to deal with all of the issues with offshore, which, time zone issues, cultural issues, language barriers, all those things that can get in the way and make what is sometimes a difficult process, right? Developing software is not easy, even more difficult. So that's where I find my sweet spot with those teams, because the client only deals with people here in the US, and they still benefit significantly from the cost savings, saving 50 to 60 or 70% off of US rates. I do a lot of work, and I'm always continuing to build my relationships with digital marketing agencies that don't always have those resources, those technical resources in-house, or even if they do, they oftentimes are over, they basically don't have enough resources, right? They have more work than they can handle. Or something comes over their transom that they just don't have the in-house skills for, right? Maybe they do WordPress work, but they need a more sophisticated e-commerce team. So love to talk to digital marketing agencies, usually up to 20 people that have overflow work or might need another resource that has skills that they don't have in-house. And that's my pitch. Didn't miss anybody. I will go back to gallery mode. Any comments, additions? Everybody should, if you haven't already, add either your trustref.net page link or your LinkedIn link to the chat. And then if you right or click on the 3 dots in the chat, the first option is save the chat, and that will download it to a text file to your downloads, and you'll get all that information. And I do encourage people to connect directly in LinkedIn or go to the person's trustref.net page and connect through there. And I am looking forward. I'm rebuilding the website. It's going to have more functionality. I'm still working on UAT right now, user acceptance testing. Hopefully in January. Sometimes it takes longer than you think. It has already taken much longer than I thought it would. Any last comments? Anybody want to bring up a topic of discussion, brainstorm? We do have a little bit of time. Robert, go for it.
I'm curious what CRM systems you guys use and if you like it or not. Just some background. Back in 2002, we're all of the same age-ish, so I can do that. I worked for a software as a service company. We did, CRM, and I helped build that company. So I still use that now because I know it like the back of my hand, but it's built on 2002 technology-ish. And I've been looking at lots of different CRMs and haven't found one that I really, really like for a good price for a small business like ours. So I'm wondering what you all are using. If you
So
are.
I think it depends on what your focus is.
Yeah,
Some
that's
are
what I was
much
gonna say.
more, yeah, some
For
are much
mostly
more.
sales, like sales. I need to more of a sales automation type of platform.
So there's ones that are more email automation. You know, SharpSpring is really good for that. And Bryce had mentioned that. Mark is mentioning HubSpot, obviously really powerful. I use Agile CRM, which is inexpensive and really quite, really functional. It's in some areas it's a little kludgy, but it's, I think I'm paying $15 a month for it, and I have, it's not good for mass emails, I don't think. A couple others came up. David mentioned Pipedrive, Zoho, obviously Salesforce. Thing is, these are all very popular ones, and they all have different capabilities. Yeah, and Bryce
Yeah.
mentioned Salesforce is the opposite of affordable. Yeah, I mean,
It is.
It's
Right. It is, but it's like everybody that I work with, all the startups, like they start with the HubSpots, they start with the Zohos, they start, then they graduate to Salesforce. It's the funniest thing because they want all this functionality. But yeah, to Bryce's point, I mean, Salesforce is expensive. Yeah.
Although if
start.
you're, it's not a bad thing to recommend for not-for-profits. I think they still have their free version for up to 10 users for not-for-profits. Yeah, it is a fairly expensive but capable tool. Yeah, it is. It's a tough one. I think in terms of value, agile CRM is a really good value. I don't know cost of Pipedrive. Zoho I think is pretty inexpensive too.
Sure. All right, thanks everybody.
Cool. Anybody else? Jason, you were talking, but I'm not sure.
I see that. I've seen these platforms for 20 years, Pipedrive, Agile. They're all good. You just have to decide which, it's like a diet. You got to decide which one works for your habits really more than anything. Like I'm stuck on HubSpot because my employees wanted it. I don't even use it. I use my own internal thing because I don't want to be bothered. It doesn't work for my flow.
Yeah.
So it's really about your flow and knowing there's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle just to change your flow to adapt. But they all work. I mean, honestly, they all, at least at this point, they all have APIs. So one thing I'd suggest is look for a CRM that has API to Zapier's, because then you can do a lot of automation and what you should be thinking.
Most of them do nowadays, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So they all work. It's just figure out where you can automate, and you'll be very happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm using I will be using a product called Upticks, which is more of an email automation
Yeah.
system. But
And Salesforce sucks.
Is anyone using LinkedIn Sales Navigator?
Yeah, I use it all the time. As a matter of fact, there's a system called Lead Delta that is a CRM for your Sales Navigator. It's like $100 a year, and it's browser based. It's pretty cool because it gives you all sorts of functionality you can't do with Navigator.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, one thing about Navigator obviously is the person has to be in LinkedIn. Your target has to be in LinkedIn, which almost everybody is, of course. But I think also it does give you access to a broader set of people than you would normally have otherwise in your LinkedIn. But it's not really it's got some gaps in terms of a full CRM system, which makes, I guess, Lead Delta, gives them a niche to fill in those gaps. It's certainly not. It doesn't have the email marketing capability. Sales Navigator. Does Lead Delta give you that?
Which part in Lead Delta are you asking about?
So Sales Navigator doesn't really have an email marketing component, right?
Yeah, it has all that stuff. It's good. Take a look at the demo. Developer, it's one guy developing it. It's his third launch of a product, and it's there's a lot of stuff in there. It's good, and it complies with LinkedIn for the most part.
Yeah, so they don't they don't try to shut him down.
Who knows? He's very upfront about what he's doing, and he's saying, I'm trying to be compliant, so it's, they know about him. Let's put it that way. He's all
That's
over, he's all over the rating sites and stuff like that.
Oh, that's neat. I'll,
Yeah.
my son works for LinkedIn in the Sales Navigator group, actually.
And let me
Um,
give you a link. I'll give it right here. Hold on. You just sent out something.
He's sending it to
I'll
me
put it
directly.
in,
or
yeah, I'll put
everybody?
it in the thing.
In the chat? Okay.
Yeah, give me a second. I gotta find it.
So lead
The-
Delta. Okay. Anybody
And
else?
outreach-
Come.
Yeah, one last one. Outreach.io. Have I used it? Yes, not for myself, but as part of a team with the startups that we work with.
Oh, I'm
And,
using outreach. So outreach. You mean you're talking about Joe Petruzzi?
I don't know if it's Joe Petruzzi. It's outreach.io.
Oh, no, maybe he's organic outreach. That's something else. Okay. .io.
I just think it's interesting that, back in the day, it was like, here's one tool that can manage contact and outreach. And now I'm finding that, at least I know we're small businesses, but the startups that we work with that are small, but not as small as we are, most likely are using multiple software tools,
What happened?
So
Or-
lead Delta. So you say you have a $115 savings. So it's, how much is it a year? Do you know?
It's cheap. I'm telling you, it's a, unless he'd raised it. I got lucky. I got a lifetime thing and I paid, I think, $100. So I don't know what it is now.
All
But
right.
that's a code that he sent out in November. Maybe it still applies. But you know what I'll do? I'm going to give you his email. You guys could email him directly because he seems to like that. Let me do that. Okay, I'll put it in here. Can't hurt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ved. He also sounds Russian. Ved.
No, not Russian. He's the Eastern European something or another.
All right. Used to be part of Russia or USSR anyway.
That's true.
Probably. And they're trying again. All right. Listen.
That's
and then-
true.
Putin gets his way, it'll all be back to the old USSR. Just like the Beatles said.
Right.
All right, listen, thank you, everybody. Great seeing you all. Do introduce more people to me if you think they might be interested in being part of this community. Would love to talk and connect with each other. Now's a good time to save the chat. Again, click on the three buttons under the chat, the three dots, and then the first option is save. And have a good one. Hopefully I'll see you. Again, as you already know, we've switched to Wednesday mornings and Tuesday evenings. So the next meeting will be Tuesday evening at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Western. And
Take care,
Things in
everyone.
between.
Have a great
Thank you.
day.
Bye,
Take
everybody.
care.
Thank you. You too.